stress testing. Uh, like my computer's a Surface Pro 3 and it's connected to 3 screens right now, and there's like software running, and I want to do streams of. Well, I guess the most intensive software will be Blender, maybe Unity, and I don't know if gaming too, but well, Blender definitely in game. And so I just stress test if it can stream for like long times and stuff like that. I don't know. And so again, I'll talk about my drawings on my DeviantArt account. And again, an early version of Sonia. And well, Sonia is actually one of the main playable characters for Crystal Destiny. Like, Crystal Destiny is like the main like game I've been wanting to make, and see, this is the first version of her, and I kept some elements, changed many. I actually one nice change is that first she had this like, okay, I was like in middle school when this kind of idea came up, and little idea on culture and stuff. So I guess it's like jousting and like javelins. Yeah, they're really short, I guess. But then I thought, that's not real. Being that she was lightning, and I was thinking like they could act like lightning rods or something. But yeah, that she's then I imagine she's fast, and yeah, that I don't think those javelins will work. So I just flattened them and made them blades. Actually, how they're called, razors. One thing is that I'm trying to avoid. Well, I mean, since I'm trying to make my own kind of world, kind of want to not avoid. Oops. Avoid cliches, but like think what kind of what is standard and what could be changed, or stuff, if it can be changed. But, her weapon is called razors. Actually, their weapon class is a razor. There's another weapon class that's called blade, and here is a frill. The previous ones were all Dugan's. He is a frill, and this those were like early attempts at Inkscape. Like, that's the original drawing, and here's another drawing of Sonia. Oh, and just like Sonia, Ezio is the other main protagonist of Crystal Destiny. And early versions of a Arya, Liam Power, of a Mort, of an Aetha, and there are like 21 species, races. I don't know. You know, like how we call like standard fantasy, high fantasy, whatever. Um, Dwarves, elves, gnomes, and all that kind of fairies. You hear them called races, and well, I don't know if like the same term will apply here. Will be species or races. The main difference is that races could be thought of one variations of one thing, and species are separate things. And here's some Nahuatl, low poly Nahuas, so poly frills. So are the I prefer calling them species right now, especially I can also implement races within each species. It seems like a nifty idea. And more low poly, and let's see, part of the what's it called, the stress um, stress test that I'm doing. Well, I'm also using OBS for streaming, and well, clearly this is YouTube. And it says video output low. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, will experience buffering. And well, modes. And like for their naming systems for different species, like some of them are more conventional than others, and also try to change it up a bit, like what's in a name, what in a rose tail smell and stuff. I don't know, but like a name has a mark, is basically is a unique identifier for an individual, right? And oh, here, like we have a nice set of names. And yeah, names are unique identifiers for, well, not necessarily unique. There are many people that have the same name, but like usually the people are in different localities. So sometimes even the name of the place is part of the individual's name. And then also the family, their clan, or whatever lineage is part of their name. They also have like their own personal name, or to be quickly addressed. Right? If like similar like an IP address. And within the network, you only need like the last quartet, and the further you go to other networks, you need the other quartets, the other three quartets. Well, like on this one, actually, like you have the. Okay, I'm just gonna read them first. Ennio de Migo, Andrew de Migo, Estru de Figa, Etsy de Linet. Really, that Linet? Oh, whatever. Emily Lagiva and Enla de Miga. And the first, you can clearly see that they all start with E, right? That's actually their regional name, a regional part of their name. And since they're all in the same region, they all start with E. And there's also people with, I guess, the I region, the A region, and the other two vowels. And then, as you can see, there's the N, like Enlo, Entru, Enya. They'll have the N following, but then you also have Estru, which is the same region but has an S instead. What was it? That's the family name, the family part. Yeah, like just instead of like an entire like last name, it's just the what's it called? Just a condensed to a letter. Oh no, wait, that's the region part. I forgot. I have it written down somewhere, but something like that. Then the last two are actually together, they're not separate. Like Eo, Ru, again through Lee and Ia are more part of their personal part, with like uh, names that start that end in A and I are more feminine, with O and U are more masculine, and the ones that end in E are neutral. And then the next part, the D, de, actually there's the entire race that they either do, and those are titles, more or less. I mean, uh, kind of like the Japanese honorifics. Um, like, but actually, that came after this uh, vendor that I decided to give them, make the da-da-dee-da-do honorifics, so they all have de instead of their current names. And then the last part is altogether is like Migo, Viga, Giva, Miga. Those are tribes, and I've spent too much time on their names, but and Juliet Elo. That's another. Um, the original idea for their names was to be more Shakespearean. So Juliet comes from Juliet. Yeah, and Sonatag also has a pretty. Dugan's names are pretty well defined. And they have 10. There's a total of 10 family names. All of them are 3 letters, and 2 for each vowel, like tag and var, and none of the consonants repeat. And with the laurels, just from flowers and trees and stuff. And Alina, for lore, is actually more or less what I think of. Same thing for the aria. They don't. For the Mords, they have first name and a last name, but those names are just 2 letters. Could be a consonant and a vowel, or just 2 vowels. I don't think I have a vowel and a consonant, but yeah. For Nawas is again just what I think of, and they're probably regular names. Shuas and for Minkas. They also have a complicated naming system. I can't remember it, but I have it written down. And actually, for Jins, it's from rivers. Lempa is a river. And Aetha, right now they don't have a defined naming system, so just whatever I think of. Another Aetha, Nawa, Frill, and see, he has a emo name, Ezio de Figa. Though his Frill name is Suo Elo. And actually that actually is not Shakespearean. Sonia Var, Rog Ironside, and like their names actually derive from the first name from colors. So Rog is actually a corruption of the color red. Don't have a defined naming structure yet. And La Amigo, I already talked about them. And yeah, more drawing and more. I really like these renders. Actually, one thing about the Minka is that the last, I don't think that I don't think the last names are always just one syllable. See, Limasu, and actually, like I think also the sound also defines. Like I think like males have harder consonants. It has a K, has a T, and like I said, flowers. I forgot what flower was that I derived lindis from. But yeah, and Mort name 2 syllables and G. Uh, actually, like her name was actually Angie, so it could be um, call her Angie. And actually, like over here does have 2 names, Angie and Ambi. As part of her story. Valiet, Odin. I have no idea where it came from, Danny. I'm just talking about the names now. And Nurai have 3-part names and don't have a specific naming structure. They'll start with A, I think. Sri Lan's Niven. And here we have the first dove on Atnu Lundi from the EMA naming convention. And actually, I think that kind of for character creation, like what kind of name should I give him? Like, it has to do with the backstory, kind of. Since there will be like multicultural settings, so they could be using have a name that comes from a different culture, kind of. So like Ezio de Figa, that's not a Phil name, even though he's Phil. With Rolls, they just have one name. They don't have the last name or whatever, but they do have a limited selection of consonants and vowels. However, Fifi is not a role name. It's actually roles don't have a full pronunciation of anything, and they cannot pronounce F's or I's, so they will not be able to even name anybody Fifi. She's a pet slave, so that's the name that her owners gave her, and she can't pronounce it. No Rolf can pronounce it. Rufo is okay. They can't pronounce I's. They can't pronounce F's. And Coda Anid. More names. Elda, Lilithorn. Okay, with Sour. One thing that for Sour names is that scientific means tau is the tau particle, whatever. I know it has something to do with subatomic particles. And Ches is Mexican from Sanchez. And Again, rivers, Lempa. And actually, his name is also a river, Niles, the Nile. And Trufo and La Deniga. And La Deniga. Rose, uh, hmm, Corliss. Actually, one thing that tried for them is Italian sounding names. Given also where the name of their species comes from. Corliss is from Corleone. And yeah, I completely changed her height. She's way, way bigger than that now. And Sonatag, Donnie, was Donnie's last name somewhere? And it's probably gonna appear somewhere. Her. See, that's another. The first consonant doesn't repeat, the second consonant does. So like var and curb, they both have R's, but the first one doesn't repeat. But it doesn't repeat with the last consonant either. Complicated. And I already talked about Nink's naming convention. They basically have serial numbers, and I tried to make those serial numbers sound like a name, like T9 sounds like Tina, T983. Oh, see, my Kip is named after the carrier planet. So I did make a note for him. And actually, for her name, Sophie, because Sophie is a proper Mort name, and Sophia is a proper Dugan name, and she's a hybrid, half Mort, half Dugan. So, and Dugan hybrids written. I forgot their naming convention. Duane. That's and I also forgot their naming convention. Jolie Anneman. Carlos Aid. I wonder how it's gonna come up. I mean, actually, the more important thing right now is for YouTube to record it, not the streaming. I'm not too important about, because that YouTube records it. It says it's bad and it's video output low. And we have like half the resolution of my smallest screen. It doesn't say it's dropping any frames. The CPU is at 13.8. Yeah, Sue. And actually the surname for Sue, because she is a main character of some sort in the story, especially for Eodal's story. Sue actually comes from Sonic the Hedgehog, the comic version. Yeah, there's a character whose last name is Sue. For Sonic the Hedgehog comic fans or whatever. Trina from neutrino. So, see, Trina comes from neutrino, elemental particles, scientific sounding stuff. Makora. See another K and a masculine name. Okay, and Olapo is another river. And Lo de Migo. D93 Dimitri. D935. Again, a render of Fifi. A name that she cannot pronounce. And Chucolito. Chiramatulin. They're two farmers. Cutting quarks. There we go. That's where I got it from. Cutting. Oh, and blue is from Muon. Yeah, it's on subatomic particles. I use them at the bases, not exactly the same. Like Yol is from yellow, meaning that their names are color. And yeah, here's the story. Another story. Sienna. Jari. Again, Kari. Again, Rog is another Dugan last name and has the last consonant is shared with tag. Okay, see. Okay, the first one, there's 10 last names, one for each vowel. Two for each vowel. The last consonant are repeated twice, but with different vowels. And the first consonant doesn't repeat with any consonant either. Simple enough. And let's see. Garing, Yoram, Alem, Dina, Din, Sinia, and Ilmari. And this where I'm thinking like this story could be told as a comic. Their stories will be told as a video game. Song. And see Danny Kerr with a R that's shared with like Sonia Barr. And another and this kid I called the their species name was originally Tink, but yeah, sounds like Tinkerbell. And so I've been trying to find how to call them. So over here I called it Blink. And L365 Lex from L3. And Groro for the wolf. And for the discount that's there, Kalo for color. Okay, let's see. Photo for the wolf that's here. And actually, Medi is a Adimura hybrid, so uh, Medi is a proper Arya name. I forgot why, but her Murai name is Almedi, and Medi for short. And Petro or Peter. Wait, no, that isn't this. And brown, green, and I forgot those two. Though they're not necessarily. The colors can also derive from non-English colors. I just forgot what those. And how long has it been? Like half an hour. Huh. Oh, I guess. Okay, that. Fia. I named her before I decided for real names to be Shakespearean. A random Dugan family, in which he's wearing a what's it called? I forgot what was the name of his style of clothing, but her style of clothing is definitely Laurel.